Hello, hi everyone. In today's video, we are going to learn C# variables, data types, and the difference between value and reference types. So, what are the variables in C#? So, variable is nothing but it's a storage location in the memory that will hold some value, and that value we can use in our program, right? So, it is kind of a storage data, right? So how to declare a variable? So to declare a variable in C sharp, we need to specify the data type of the variable and then what is the variable name. And optionally, we can assign one value to the variable. In the example, you can see that we are providing int age 25, which means we are creating a variable of name age. What is the data type of the variable? Integer. What value we are assigning? 25, right? So this is how we declare a variable and assign a value. So here you can see that we are creating a variable of type string, and the name is name, and this is the value. This is a string variable. Okay, so these variables are nothing but a storage locations in the memory that will hold some value, and we can use these variables in our programming. So what are the data types in C sharp? In C sharp, we have majorly two categories of data types. One is value types, and then we have reference types. So we will go through each one of them. So value types are nothing but they store the actual data directly. Like whenever you assign a value to the value type, it will copy the value of what we assign. So for example, value types are nothing but we have integer, double, char, bool, struct, enum. All these types are considered as value types. So if you see the example, int x equal to 10. So we are assigning one value 10 to the variable x of integer type. So this is a value type because integer is a value type. So this is an integer. And we are creating another variable of type integer, which is y. The variable name is y. So in the second line, what exactly we are doing is we are assigning the value of x to the y value, which means y will get a copy of x value. X value is 10 and y will get value of 10. Then what we are doing is we are changing the value of x to 20. But y value will be still 10 because y is getting a copy of x. Okay, y is getting a copy of x, which means if you change the value of x, it will not have any impact on the y value because they both are different. Both are different copies. So changing one value will not affect the other one because they both are independent of each other because they are value types. So we consider integer, double, char, bool, struct, enum, all these are value types. Okay. Next we have reference type. What are reference type? These are nothing but this will store a reference, which means address of the actual data, but not the data itself. So it will contain the address to the data, but not the data itself. So when you assign one reference type variable to another, both refer to the same object in the memory. Both refer to the same address in the memory, which means changing one value will impact the other one. So what are the common reference types? We have string data type, class, arrays, interfaces, delegates, and all. These are part of the reference types. So I will show you one example. So we have one class. Person is a class which contains one field. Here we have name of data type string. So whenever we create an object of the person class, person p1 equal to new person, we are creating the object of person class and we are assigning a value to the name. P1 dot name equal to, we are assigning one value to the name. Next, what we are doing, we are creating another object of the same class and we are assigning P1 object to P2. Here, as I mentioned, class is of reference type, right? So when we assign P1 to P2, what is happening is P2 will refer to the same object as P1. Now P1 and P2 both are referring to the same object in the memory. So here you are changing the name value to something else. So now as both P1 and P2 are referring to the same address in the memory, changing P2 will have impact on the P1 as well. Changing P2.name also changes P1.name because both are referring to the same address in the memory. The class is part of the reference types, right? Class is part of reference type. So it will contain reference to the data. When the data is changed, it will be visible, applicable in both the objects, right? I hope you have understood what is the reference type. So what is the difference between this value and reference type? What are the key differences? The key differences is that the way it stores the value. Value type will store the actual value, whereas reference type will store reference to the data, reference to the memory address. And then what about the memory location? Value types are stored in stack, whereas reference type will be stored on heap. And whenever you assign one value type to another, it will just copy the value. Whereas in reference type, it will copy the reference. So the examples include, as I mentioned, integer, double, bool, struct are part of the value type, and strings, classes, arrays are all type of the reference types. So to say in simple analogy, value types are nothing but writing a phone number on two separate pieces of paper. So changing one paper doesn't affect the other. Whereas reference types are like giving two people the same address card. So if the address changes, both people will see the change. That's how this value and reference types work. So I will give you summary examples for both of them. So for value type, if you see here, I'm assigning value 5 to A. And then I'm copying A value to B. Then I'm changing the value of A. Now, what do you think the value of B will be? The value of B is still 5 only, because changing A will not impact value of B, because they both are containing a separate copy of the data, right? And then coming to the reference type example, I have two strings S1 and S2. I am assigning hello value to the S1 and then copying S1 to the S2 and changing S1 to world. From hello to world, I am changing the value. Now, what do you think the value of S2 will be? S2 is still hello, because strings are special, immutable reference types. So in reference types also we have mutable and immutable. Immutable is nothing but it can't change the value of it. Now, I will give another example. So I have one object, person. I'm creating an instance of person. So I'm assigning the name to the person1 and then creating another instance person2, copying the value of person1 to person2, changing the name. So now as I'm changing the name here, it will change for the person1 as well. Person1.name is now Max, because this is a class. Okay. So even though the string is reference type example, strings are special in nature and they are immutable. Immutable means we cannot change them. So that's the reason, even though you change the value of S1 here, S2 is still hello. It's still not changed. Whereas when it comes to the classes, changing the value of one is affecting the other, which means they both are referring to the same memory address and the value gets changed. So I hope you have understood what is value type, what is reference type, and the basic data types variables in C#. Thank you for watching the video.